Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a little bit more of a map review here on Echo's Icecrown. Over here on the top left hand side we have Royal spawning as the pink Terran player, meanwhile Odie's Rob Laws or Ro Balls, not quite sure how to pronounce that name, spawning as the red Terran. Now, a good friend of mine, maker of the Aeon of Storms map and Storm of the Imperial Sanctum map, was trying his hands at making a BattleNet ladder or just a tournament edition map to see whether or not he could move over his map making skills into the professional scene. So I will be making some comments on the map itself and trying to figure out how this map stacks up, say, to the current tournament edition maps. Now, a couple of things to note. I don't actually know if this is Reaper traversable, but I do believe that this back section is Reaper traversable. That should be an interesting point to note, that you can't jump from a cliff here. You don't have this gigantic cliff that you need to keep track of. Just a little bit of a small one on a backdoor location here. Maybe even a single supply depot could stop those units in its tracks. Now, I will leave the production tab open for you guys out there, so it looks like we are going to be going into a Reaper opening from one of these players, the red side, and let's take a look at some of the other features on the map. Now, like all maps, there is a natural expansion right down over here, and I would say that this expansion is similar to Cloud Kingdom or even Neo Planet S. There is a small cliff area here, but that is untraversable. You cannot sit siege tanks up on the high ground even if you have dropships, and a very, very easy way to cover a rather narrow choke point. Now, coming outside here, you do have a set of destructible rocks that leads to what would normally be your fourth base. The third base is just a hop, skip, and a jump down here with a common choke area here and a little bit of brush. So that brush could come into play in terms of line of sight as we are now making a move across. There are only 2 spawning locations on this map though. So once you know where one player has spawned, you know where the other has spawned as well. Here we go. We are going into a command center here. And what is this? It is not Reapers. Instead, it is going to be a fast factory. So a factory tech here with now a supply depot being placed on the front door. SCV Scout coming in from the pink Terran player, sees everything he wants to see, knows what's going to be coming in, and knows that perhaps he will be dealing with either cloaked Banshees or perhaps some reactor Hellions. Hellions perhaps not the best choice there, as that Marine was unable to get the kill on that scouting SCV. Meanwhile, behind this, Royal is double expanding into gas and looking to perhaps go for a factory. It has to be going for a factory and some sort of tech play. We'll see whether or not drop play will be viable. Now, this map does remind me of Newkirk Precinct just a little bit, as there's this very, very large untraversable terrain going up and down the center. Now, there is also 2 Xel'Naga towers on the map, I believe also similar to Newkirk Precinct. So if you kind of flip the map over on its head, it does have a lot of similarities. The tiles, I do think though that the flying distance is actually a bit closer, so overlords may actually find out what their opponent is doing a little bit faster. I believe this map is a little bit more square than rectangular, as we are now going into some Widow Mines. Interesting Widow Mines now coming in, and with Widow Mines, we may see a Widow Mine drop. Now, the problem is going to be, is Royal going to be expecting this? Because there is all of this dead area here, even the Xel'Naga tower cannot catch sight of it, you could get caught off guard. Also, with the destructible rocks here, there's no real reason to try and take this expansion. And by not taking this expansion, you are not going to spot all of this key area up here. Perhaps a missile turret or even a sensor tower here, overlords positioned here, would be useful. All right, what was that? A clean hit on a scan. Not quite sure. Did Royal see? Yeah, he pretty much saw everything he needed to see there, as we are now looking to go into a medevac to drop double Widow Mines and now following up with Cloaked Banshees. taking a look over here, we can see another Widow Mine coming in, and oh, this could be potentially here. Medevac now trying to fly in. Is it going to drop straight inside this mineral line? Yes, double Widow Mines now coming in, and how much damage will be dealt? There goes one SCV, there goes another, and the Marine, oh, going to try to clean up the rest of the Widow Mines, but is not able to there. Was there a Widow Mine hit? Yes, there was one Widow Mine hit as well. So now has to be very, very careful. This Widow Mine this medevac has to be extremely careful. This Widow Mine is on a bit of a timer life, as we're going to see a drop off once again. Both Widow Mines once again going to burrow themselves, and this medevac needs to perhaps just get the heck out of here. Marines now making their way over. A little bit of a split tactic there, but this is exactly what you want to do against Widow Mines. Make sure you only lose 1 or 2 units, and Balls is just going to be able to clean this up. The problem is the follow-up play. Cloaked Banshee now coming in off of this Widow Mine play, and you can see, oh, there is a shot there. Down it goes, but I believe that we did get a little bit of splash damage, and now this one particular Banshee is going to get in a lot of shots. How much damage can it really look to do? It is going to come back around, now get off some shots here on these Marines, and this is going to be very, very good, as you can see that Royal was forced to constantly use scans in order to take down the Widow Mines. He has nothing left for this Cloaked Banshee. However, you can see that there is one Widow Mine here primed and ready to go. A scanner sweep could spell certain doom in a matter of seconds. There's the Widow Mine hit. Down it goes. Nicely played by Royal, baiting that out. As we can see, an expansion has come down from the Red Terran player. So, high drop play, high air value in the center portion of the map here. Very nice. If I do have any I don't know, moving this Zelnaga Tower up wouldn't really do much of anything, as this northern side is just so large. Now, the bottom half of the map, though, you see that no players have done anything with it. There's really no reason to try and scout any of that out. Come on, it was this, yes, another Cloaked Banshee coming in with 5 kills. You can see that this one Cloaked Banshee trying to get kills off there, and is going to be able to take out even more Marines. And this has been a very, very strong maneuver by the Terran player, the Red Terran player, constantly just poking in. Number of workers killed already up to 19, but the Harvester count is still surprisingly even, since Royal did get that command center up faster. All right, there you go, going after an SCV. There is another SCV there. It may get taken down. Yes, it will. Is it going to be able to cloak and retreat? No. Just turns around, shoots a couple of more, shoots another Marine, and the losses are still tallying up. Third orbital command is incoming. However, I do not believe it will be able to lift off and land here anytime soon, unless these rocks are taken down. And like he's reading my mind, he is going to decide to take down these rocks here. So far, a third command center now coming in from Royal as well, as the Red Terran player has a bit of a lead. Let's take a look at the army supply, 14 to 29, and worker supply, 40 to 49. The Red Terran player quickly catching up with the help of this additional orbital command, and we'll see what will come of this here in just a moment. A lot of production buildings, a standard mech play coming in from the Red Terran player. Meanwhile, looking at the production buildings of the Pink Terran player, it really looks like he's rather sparse and a little bit unfocused. Double factory, double barracks, 1 starport without a reactor. I don't know if he's going to go for bio, if he's going to go for mech, or if he's just going to go for a hodgepodge of units and then make a move out. You can see that that third base is finally being established. These rocks will fall down, and there is also this destructible rock tower here to try and close off and protect this third. And what will become of that in just a moment. Siege tanks could hide up here, as we now finally see units making their way down to the low ground. A burrowed Widow Mine, making sure that, hey, if anything does come my way, I will destroy it. But at a Zelnaga Tower, always better to leave it unburrowed, as you see the unit walking over, finally burrow it there. Alright, coming across, Medevac now doing a bit of Hellbat drops. Going to be very, very effective. It is 3 bases to 2 so far, as this orbital command is getting up and operational. 60 to 52 SCVs. It looks like the red Terran player is going to be coming back in for another drops of sorts. And what's going to be happening here? Missile turrets get off 1-2 shots. There is a Widow Mine right here, and it could just absolutely shut it down. There it goes. But the Hellbats have been dropped down already. Here you go, taking down unit after unit, trying to find some SCVs. This is a rather tight scenario for the Terran player to try and take down. Going to be going after this missile turret. There is a Widow Mine here as the Marines are now coming over to engage and have cleaned it up nicely. Hellions now making their way over. No servo transformers at all. Will not be able to transform easily as the Hellions now look to back off. Siege tanks, Marines, SCVs, all doing that bit of long distance mining as there's for some reason, yeah, Royal had not yet landed this command center here. All right, siege tanks are in position. We are now at 3 bases to 3, and taking a look at the pacing of the game, I'm wondering how these expansions are going to be used. No one's really scouted them out, and it is really easy to perhaps take a ninja expansion on a map like this. Very, very difficult to keep track of such a large amount of space. As we're now looking at a sensor tower coming in, Terran players perhaps benefiting most by being able to use sensor towers and keep track of large amounts of the map, even though it is over dead space, not having to sacrifice actual air units to hover over that location there. Here you go. In comes the unit. Siege tanks are in position, but some of them are not siege, and now we are going to be going into a bit of a standoff. There is the attack. There is the follow-up play, as we can already see. Perhaps Balls is going to be launching off some Seeker missiles. Seeker missiles would be huge in this upcoming battle. Hitting Marines would be very, very instrumental, as we're going to see both sides still battling it out. Okay, what's going to be? Don't know. Auto turret placed down and dealing a little bit of damage, but not doing much of anything else. All right, there is that Seeker missile. It is going to come over, splash, hit that siege tank, deal a bit of damage, but not quite as much as you would hope unless he actually hit Marines. All right, what's going to be happening here? Siege tanks all lined up against the side. A little bit of a miscalculation by Royal to not actually place his siege tanks on over here as the units are coming up through this narrow choke point. And with that, the red Terran player has now taken a bit out of this army, as we now see the medevacs trying to drop in Marines on top of all these units. Not going to survive for very long. And the red Terran player looks to just simply push through very, very easily here. So far, coming in from the south, Hellbats trying to walk in the old-fashioned way are just going to get absolutely pummeled, but the natural or the third base already falling by Royal. Not much that Royal can do at this point. He needed to just place the units over here to, just catch that narrow choke point, and that's one of those things that when you are working off of a new map that you've never seen or played from before, you are just not familiar with it at all. Vikings quickly get shot down here. Royal will need to repair it, as we now see an auto turret being dropped into play. I do believe the auto turret will get taken down. Yeah, the siege tank definitely destroying that. Meanwhile, Vikings being brought over, and a lot of clearing out once more, and this time doing a really, really strong job. But is he going to be able to move his units over in time? The siege tanks need to move forward, and oh, what is this? The red Terran player realizing, you know what, I cannot really fight in that location. Let me go ahead and pull back here, as this is the location to be. Siege tanks right here will take down any units trying to come up that ramp. Also, the units here, if they want to try to get in, they will have to follow some siege tank damage here as well. So very, very nice jobs coming in from Purple or Pink, finally realizing where he needs to place those siege tanks. All right, the map, so far, just giving my thoughts, does feel like a tournament edition map. It does feel a little bit awkward and cumbersome for siege tank placement, and it's one of those things where you need to figure out where units and where the common engagements and battles are. The center location here, very, very wide open, very easy to flank, but there's only 3 routes inside this center location here. As you can take a look, it's almost like a meat grinder coming into the center portion of the map. All the units come across into the center, and they can instantaneously die if there are siege tanks, colossi, or anything of that nature. The map does lead way to a lot of single fire or single line attacks, as we now see the siege tanks battling it up. However, it looks as though Balls has a superior siege tank number and will completely clean up the attack and now be forced to retreat. Hellbats in the front will be able to absorb much of that marine damage. Siege tanks in the back here, Marauders and Marines. Siege tanks now coming in from the rear once more, and this is not looking good. 74 versus 102. The army supply quickly dropping. A point defense drone adding more insult to injury, and that is just going to be the GG there. Not much that can be done by Royal. He is now down by over 100 supply, and there is the GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game here. Very, very strong play by the Red Terran player. But let me take a look at what I feel about the map. Use of the gold minerals here. Nice choice. I'm trying to figure out if I would like to see an additional Xel'Naga tower here and here, kind of like they overlap each other, as opposed to a symmetrical one down the middle. This orange mineral patch, even though it does seem it is much closer to your opponent than, say, many of the other mineral patches, it doesn't feel like that much of a risk. There is only really 1 or 2 entrances into this location, and it's going to be very easy for siege tanks to guard it off here. Anyone that tries to come in from this backside here, taking down this set of destructible rocks will delay a bit as well. Also, anytime you have to go up and down a ramp in order to attack a gold mineral patch, always dangerous, as you can have siege tanks on the high ground simply destroying and taking down the low ground. Now, the pacing felt right. I don't know if I really care to see another map that has such a large dead space along the north that leads to a lot of drop play. It may be favoring Terran a bit much, or Protoss with their oracles. Mutalisks, by that time, they're so fast, you kind of know that they're coming. So, and placing down missile turrets and photon cannons and spore crawlers, rather easy to try to handle that harassment at that stage of the game. Overall, I like the feel of the map. I don't know if a lot of high level players really would like to play on this map, just because, you know what, I'll let the high level players just give feedback on it. But so far, it looks like a clean, polished map. I like the use of the terrain. I like the use of the snow map. I like the use of the Xel'Naga towers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed my analysis of Echo's Icecrown and this game between Royal and Rob Laws.